After a factory accident involving workers, factory employees demand justice from their boss. The situation escalates, leading to violence and confrontations with police. Mitchell, a former employee, is arrested after being beaten by an officer. The video of his arrest is shared online, causing a stir among teenagers. Michael's daughter Selma, who has been acting out since her parents' divorce, tries to intervene. Her mother Elise, who has been in jail since the incident, is left confused. Recently, Mitchell is released with an ankle monitor. While staying with her father one evening, Selma watches the news and finds out that hundreds of wild creatures have died as a result of a rainstorm that is 1,000 times more acidic than usual in Latin America. Scientists believe that this rain, which is a result of pollution and global warming, will soon make its way to the northern hemisphere. Elise notices that Selma left her room window open as it starts to rain fiercely the next day. She quickly wipes up the wet by placing a towel on the floor. A mother falls asleep on her daughter's bed, unaware of the towel losing color. The next day, it's cloudy and rain is sporadic, causing concern. At work, Mitchell notices the wet ground's strange consistency. Elise calls to pick Selma up early due to the rain problem, and since her car is in the garage, Mitchell must drive her. Upon arriving at the school, they discover that the pupils have left their phones behind and have gone on a horse ride. They head into the forest in search of Selma, but a traffic block prevents them from getting past as all the parents are thinking the same thing. As ominous clouds begin to gather over the woodland, Mitchell pulls off the road in a frantic attempt to locate his daughter. Meanwhile, Selma isn't a very good rider, so she's stuck in the forest while her classmates move ahead. A few raindrops begin to fall, burning the sticks on the ground and hurting the horses, who run away in panic and make Selma fall. When Mitchell and Elise get close enough to the forest, they realize there's no room for the car to go through, so Mitchell gets out of the vehicle and continues on foot, searching the stables first where the poor horses are going crazy. Selma is running too, and soon she returns and meets her father again as he comes out. They scramble to get inside the training facility just before it starts to rain. A few droplets make it through the ceiling's perforations and scorch the earth. While he phones Elise to let her know where they are, Mitchell looks for any blankets they may use to cover up. Elise struggles to drive due to heavy rain affecting visibility. She finds buildings and parks outside for Mitchell and Selma. As they return to the road, they hear people screaming in pain due to acid rain. The road is blocked again, and they can't go back due to cars with their paint melting. Elise finds an opening in a traffic jam but gets stuck in a different section, allowing people to enter. Mitchell kicks out a damaged man, ensuring proper lockup. Elise then finds another opening and drives quickly, pushing them out of the way. As she sees the paint on the ceiling change color, Selma breaks down because she can no longer handle the terror. After a little while, the rain eventually ceases, and the area is covered in melted things and bodies caused by the acid. The family pulls into a supermarket parking lot and loads up on blankets and clothing to protect the vehicle and themselves. Elise calls his brother at work, but he can't join them because they've blocked the roads. Mitchell tries calling his girlfriend, but he only gets the voicemail. For the next few hours, the family drives away intending to leave the country, which lots of people are trying to do. In the evening, the car finally stops working because of all the acid damage, and the back door is stuck. Mitchell tells Selma not to breathe in case any acid splashes while kicking it a few times to open it. The family then explores the area till they come to an abandoned structure. Mitchell checks to make sure nobody else is inside and is shocked to see the space furnished like it's for an impossible party. Elise stops Selma from petting the cat that is stealing party food because she thinks there could be acid in its hair. After confirming that his girlfriend is okay, Mitchell eventually gets through to her, but he quickly loses signal. The water from the running tap isn't sure if it's safe, so Mitchell puts some in a dish and lets the cat investigate. Selma instantly empties the sink's bowl of rage at being treated like such by the unfortunate animal. Elise at least found some water in a bottle and gave it to Selma. Then, for added protection, they cover their feet with tape and some foil trays. The tap water is unsafe since the bowl seems to have melted a few minutes later. They eat party food and wine for supper since that's all that's in the refrigerator. Selma worries that they won't be able to subsist on foot, and an argument breaks out between her parents as they try to talk things through. Without listening to Selma's request for them to stop, they rant at one another, and Mitchell becomes so enraged that he smashes a glass and exits the room. They eventually fall asleep, but not before hearing raindrops squeak through gaps in the ceiling. When Selma can't sleep and goes to hunt for the cat, she discovers a blood trail that leads to the lifeless body of the miserable animal. Feeling distressed, Selma retreats to her mother's side to find solace. The next morning, the family returns to the road. It isn't raining for now, and lots of other people are also trying to leave the country on foot. The crowd gets bigger the more hours that pass, and when they finally find the bridge, there are dozens of people and cars stuck. It turns out the police are blocking the way and only allow small groups of people to pass every few minutes for safety reasons. Elise becomes separated from her family as a result of the uncaring crowd's constant pressing against one another. Elise is forced ahead along with the other tiny group when the cops eventually let them pass. She attempts to inform the police that her family is still alive, but they ignore her and force her to continue. She finds a large hole in the middle of the bridge, which explains the police's behavior as she crosses it. The crowd becomes increasingly violent, causing Selma to almost be crushed. Police use tear gas to disperse them. The bridge collapses, killing some people and causing the rest to run back. The front crowd continues to cross, causing a clash between the crowds. The bridge's collapse causes the crowds to clash. Elise, trapped among pushing bodies, falls into the water, causing a railing to break. She burns her skin due to acid. Selma, desperate to rescue her mother, leaves the bridge, but Mitchell stops her before she touches the water. They watch in tears as Elise's dead body floats away. Since the bridge can't be used anymore, the police take the rest of the crowd to a military base. Mitchell gets to call his girlfriend, but Elise's brother won't answer. Then the crowd is divided into various military trucks, and they share the little bottled water they have during the trip. Eventually, the trucks find the road blocked, so the soldiers make everyone get out of the vehicles to continue on foot, using red smoke as a signal so nobody will get lost. They start to flee as quickly as they can as they see the black clouds getting closer. Mitchell needs to pick Selma up and carry her while they go since she is frail and constantly trips over things. They miss the throng as a result of this delay, but happily, Mitchell discovers a tunnel nearby and works swiftly to clear the area so they can shelter just before the storm arrives. Mitchell and Selma must continue walking in the dark because there is so much rain falling that part of it is melting the earth within the tunnel. After a while, Mitchell stumbles and falls, bleeding from the acid dampness. They eventually locate the tunnel's outlet a short while later. The rain has stopped, but Mitchell can't contact me for assistance since his phone is dead. After hours of trekking, the two ultimately come upon a few residences, but Michael's pleading knocks go unanswered. When pain and exhaustion finally get the best of him, he collapses on the ground, and Selma screams for aid in the middle of the road. Upon awakening, Mitchell finds himself inside one of Deborah and her son's residences. Deborah gives them some bottled water and clean clothes, but she won't give them any of her food as she only has enough for the boy and herself. As Selma explores the property, she comes into a chamber covered in acid stains and containing odd equipment that is covered in plastic. Deborah stops her as she is ready to touch it and explains that it's crucial for her son's dialysis. To protect the kid from the acid, Mitchell offers to assist her in bringing the machine downstairs. Deborah is so appreciative that she agrees to let them spend the night and share some meals. Then Mitchell steals an axe and attempts to enter the neighbor's home, but he has to return quickly since dark clouds are approaching. Deborah must make a difficult choice as she knows the home cannot withstand the raging storm outside. For protection, Mitchell decides to sleep in the garage rather than a room, and Deborah stealthily locks their door once he and Selma are settled down. Then she goes to lie down with her son to sing him to sleep while waiting for the end. Soon many spots around the house begin melting, especially the water taps. The paint stains the walls as if it were blood, and a horrible smoke begins coming out of the heater. Mitchell and Selma wake up to the noise of the house slowly coming apart and try to check on their hosts, only to find the door locked. In the story, Deborah and a boy are trapped in a toxic fume-filled car, and Mitchell, a young man, is forced to drag Selma away from the door. The car is electrical and malfunctions, forcing the car to stop for safety. Despite the car's failure, Mitchell continues driving, ignoring the car's warnings. They find open fields and stop the car, but Selma tries to convince him he's lost. Michael's leg burns, and he returns to find Selma gone. She climbs on top of a sinking structure, and Mitchell hears her scream and drives towards her. The car sinks in the mud, forcing him to continue on foot. He carries Selma on his back, causing severe burns. They reach the car again and climb on top, where Mitchell passes out. The next morning, Selma wakes up to find the military has come to rescue them. They are taken to a safe shelter, and Mitchell receives medical care. Selma asks about her uncle, who is dead. They find the name of Michael's girlfriend, who is dead. When Selma is allowed to see her dad, she offers her comfort and decides not to tell him the bad news yet.